everybody. Welcome to another episode of Rush Hour. I'm joined by my, we're both hosting, so I'm my co-host, I guess you can say,
I guess I am.
The Truth. There he is. So Michael Stewart. He's it seems like Mike. We've been doing this. We've been our schedule's been lining up every week, pretty much.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we're getting to be regulars now, you and I.
Yeah. I think our chemistry is better than the Giants' offensive line. We got better chemistry, you and I, than the line does. Although they're playing a little better, a little.
Yeah,
better.
they did.
But,
a little better.
But I want to thank everybody that's going to come on and join the show tonight. Thanks, Darius, for chiming in. I know you're going to be doing that, and anybody else coming on the show. So, hey, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. So tomorrow's Thanksgiving. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Wish you the best, you and your families. And thanks for spending tonight with us. Kick back for an hour. And let's talk some Giants football. Mike, you and I and Jay Barry's on the show. So thanks, Jay, for popping on. Mike, you and I, neither of us were on the show on Monday. Real quick, like we always do, give me your thoughts on DeVito and what you saw on Sunday against Washington.
Well, DeVito played a good game, played a very good game. Obviously, the best game of his NFL career. And I'm happy for him. They kind of ripped the offensive line apart a little bit for the 9 sacks, but really, even Jonathan Vilma even said it. Probably half of those was his fault. Not making decisions, holding the ball, freezing a little bit, which is kind of normal. But I'm happy for the kid. Being a fellow Paisan, I'm happy for him. So.
Yeah, and Mike, I think how could you not? I mean, here's a practice squad player that just was elevated to the roster. Had opened some eyes in the preseason, but once again, he's playing against 2s and 3s. But the fact that the play action worked a little bit, he was able to throw downfield. That was impressive. Maybe holds on to the ball a little bit long, but once again, his progressions, right? It's not Don Bosco versus Paramus High School anymore, or
right.
Even in Illinois, it's it's a faster game, and I think he'll probably get better as the weeks go by with his dissecting the defense and progressions. But all in all, I mean, you got to be happy that the guy, you've seen the growth in DeVito. And Mike, I'm sure, he's auditioning for a backup job for next year, right, Mike?
Yeah, he is. Here he is. And I was quick on him a few weeks back saying he probably won't be on the team next year. But, he does what he's doing right now. He will be on the team next year, competing for a backup role. And he throws a nice football. He really does. Pretty nice mechanics he has in throwing the football.
Yeah, it does. And Mike, before we move on to, I know we're doing the preview. Let me get your opinion on this. If Tyra, and this has been the talk we've heard lately, and I'll give you mine as well. But if, hey, Joe, welcome to the show, Joe. Look forward to seeing you on Sunday at the game. Mike, if Tommy DeVito, even if he doesn't play well, but he's manageable and he's able to run the offense, even if he's not doing what he did last week against Washington, Tyrod's ready, coming off the IR around that Green Bay game. Are you in favor of bringing Tyrod back to the starting role, or would you just like to see Tommy DeVito run it out these last 6 games?
I would continue to play DeVito, especially if he's playing fairly well, and even if he's struggling a little bit, you gotta, I remember growing up, I was always told you gotta fail to succeed. You have to go through the bumps and bruises to enjoy the triumphs, and tribulations. I would play DeVito. We know what you got in Taylor's a 13-year veteran, 34 years old, probably in the end of his career, obviously. You got to let the kid play. Let DeVito get as many snaps as you can. It's only going to benefit the Giants in the long run.
Yeah, and Mike, just go off Jay's point. Jay makes a good point. I don't think we envisioned DeVito maybe being on an NFL roster, but Jay says right here the DeVito story is great. I don't think he has a future in the NFL, but he looks like he's having the time of his life, which he is. But I will say these 6 games are an audition. If he can prove, to be sustainable in a backup role, hey, why not? I mean, we've seen a guy, a number 1 pick in Zach Wilson, or number 2 pick, right? You can make the argument that DeVito's more efficient than Zach Wilson is. So, if Zach can stick around, I think a lot of people would rather have DeVito maybe.
Yeah, let me tell you this. If he has a moderate to a successful final 6 games where, I'm not going to go crazy and say he's going to be throwing 3 touchdowns a game, but if he does stuff that impresses, you don't think other teams are watching him and may snatch him off our practice squad? I mean,
Oh yeah.
don't be fooled out there. Someone might grab him. So I think I think if he keeps it up, he's going to be auditioning for a backup role in the Giants. And I think the Giants know that.
Yeah, and Jay also states, some of the backups make 50 to 60 million in their careers, and you know what?
Yeah.
You know what? The way the quarterbacks are gone down this year, I think the backup role is going to be even more important, and they might even drive a higher price and a higher demand. Even Joel makes a comment here. We're going to bring a lot of comments up today. Joel says, Brock Purdy was one lick away from signing as a free agent. Heck yeah,
he was.
Absolutely, good point, Joel. But I agree, Mike. I'd rather see Tommy DeVito go the rest of the way, as long as it's not, a point where it's just, I would say embarrassing for him, but he can't function, and it's doing more damage than good, and then you pull him almost
right.
Like,
or if he gets hurt.
Yeah.
Or if he gets right.
Yeah. So I this gives at least Giant fans a little momentum and a little something to look forward to, a little curiosity on Sunday to watch this kid play. So I'm with you. I'd rather watch him play the rest of the season. We know what Tyrod is. I like Tyrod, but you know what? We know we're getting with him, and we're not going anywhere. If this was a playoff run, absolutely bring Tyrod in. But I think at this point, as long as DeVito can hold his own, let him get the experience and ride it out. But Darius, same thing. DeVito's growing. Is growing, and right now we have an emerging star. Well, maybe not emerging star, but I agree. He's definitely emerging as something.
It's a great story.
We got to pump the brakes a little bit.
Yeah, it's a great story. It really is.
Definitely a great story, man. Definitely.
So I got to ask you, Chris. Let me ask you this. Because of DeVito, we're talking about chicken cutlets. You going to have chicken cutlets at your tailgate today on Sunday?
You know what? I used to cook. We used to do that, but I got to look at the menu. The two caterers next to us, they may have some chicken cutlets.
Yeah, gotta have chicken cutlets.
They better add that. Yeah. I know the one always has chicken parm,
That's good.
But the time I get there, it's all cold, and the wind, especially Sunday, it's all going to be windy. It's going to be all wind blown by then. I don't know. We'll see. Chicken parm. But all right, Mike, you want to get to it? We'll talk some Giants, Patriots, get that out of the way, and then we'll take some comments.
Sure.
All right, cool. And actually, after we do that, then I'll get into some roster updates and some injuries. But you want to kick off, Mike? You want to do defense?
Yeah, let's talk a little about the defense. Obviously, both these teams right now, if the season ended, they'd be picking, I believe, 3 and 5 in a draft. And speculation is that possibly both teams will be looking to get a quarterback. So this is a big game, and I'm curious to see how many Giant fans will be rooting for the Patriots, and vice versa. On Twitter, you get a lot of fans hoping the Giants lose every game, and I'm not for that. And if that's you, so be it. But I'm not for that. I think you have to play to win ball games. I think that's a given. But if you look at these teams, they both ranked pretty on the bottom of the tier with points allowed. Giants are giving up 26 points, Patriots 24. And I expect a close game. I really do. I don't see a blowout. I really think the Patriots are going to give the Giants a little bit more money for their game. I don't see 6 turnovers, which benefit the Giants immensely against Washington. If you didn't have those turnovers, it could have been a different story, different game on last Sunday. Total yards allowed, very, very close. Not very close, but the Giants are, again, near the bottom of the NFL, 28th overall, and the Pats are 16th, which is not that bad for a team that's, I think they're 2-8 right now because they had a bye last week, which I think is going to benefit them for this game. Here's where I think the key is in one of these games, for this game. The Patriots are ranked 9th against the run. Giants are 29th. If the Giants are going to rely on Barkley as their primary runner, this is key here because the Pats do a great job against the run. So that means you're going to look for DeVito needs to have a good game, right? He needs to throw the ball well. He needs to make good decisions and not turn the ball over, which he didn't do last week. He did a great job. Third down conversions, the Giants have always been bad on that. They're near the bottom again. Takeaways, the Giants have done really well. And I think you brought that up in Twitter. how well they've gone in the last few games. They got 16. I think you said they're +3 now.
That's right.
And after the first 3 or 4 games, they were like -5 or 6, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
right. So that's been a very big key for the Giants' defensive turnaround is they're actually creating turnovers. And I mean, the biggest example was last week. Sacks, I think they're even. Giants have gotten 19, the Patriots 18. So I guess it depends on how well DeVito can get rid of the ball to probably avoid some sacks. And we don't know who's starting for the Patriots. It could be a Zappi or it could be Jones. That's Mac Jones. So we don't know who the starter is. As Belichick had a whole week to watch them both and make a decision. Unless they've made a decision, right, I don't know who it is. So I think it's going to be a good game. I think the Giants defense needs to show up, show that enthusiasm like they did last week. They did. They played a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm, and their best players played great. That's what you need. Your best players like Lawrence and Tibbs. They really played. Those 2 guys shined last week big time, along with McKinney. He actually showed up last week. So that's what they need to have. They need to have their key players play well on defense.
Yeah. You're exactly right, Mike. And the defense for Patriots, you're looking at a few of guys that we from the Giants. You got Jabril Peppers. On offense you have to
former Giants,
not a former Giant, but you got Jabril Peppers on defense. Gesicki came over with Hunter Henry, but on the defense, one of their good linebackers came out of that game against the Colts when they played. I think it was Germany. Juwan Bentley, which leads a team with sacks with like 60 tackles. I'm not sure he's going to play. He had a bad hamstring, and he's one of their leaders in tackles and putting pressure on the quarterback up the middle. So that could key on the Giants as well to help them out. But stingy defense. You said it before, Mike. I mean, points allowed. Actually, I thought they you know what's interesting about the defense, Mike? They've gone in spurts like the Patriots, similar to the Giants, where they go on this little defensive run where they don't give up many points, but then they give up 30, they give up 28, and it kind of drives the rankings down on them. So like you said, they're giving up 24 on average a game, but there are games in there where they hardly, gave up a couple scores.
Sounds like the Giants defense.
Yeah, so really is a mirror image with their offense, very anemic like the Giants. You see Ezekiel Elliott, their running back.
Stevenson.
Yes, right. Yep. Thank you. Yep. So he has about 400 yards on the season. Not bad. And you see Ezekiel getting involved a little more, but I think very similar teams.
Yeah, 2 powerful running backs right there. 2 power backs.
Yeah.
That the Giants going to have to do a good job against the run against them. They really do.
Yeah. And the Patriot receivers, I mean, when you look at Juju Smith-Schuster and Kendrick Bourne, those are guys that are, pretty good, but they haven't been able to get the ball either, similar to our receivers, all season we've been dealing with that. So they have some weapons. Yeah. They just can't get them the ball. So, and it was mentioned before, we don't know who's going to start. That's Belichick holding everything close to the vest, but it could be Mac Jones, but it could be Bailey Zappi. I'm even wondering at 2-8. I don't think Will Greer, but he's on the roster. I mean, he's only been in the NFL for a couple of years and had a good preseason with Dallas. So who knows? I don't know if he's elevated or not. But
again, we don't know because the bye week. A lot could have happened. I don't know.
Yeah. If anybody knows if Greer is on the 53 or is he still on the practice squad? Actually, I think he's on the 53, and I only say that because the Patriots grabbed him from the Dallas practice squad, or was he cut? If anybody knows that, I'm curious about Will Greer, if he was on the 53 or practice squad, because I know he was cut in the off season, but after Dallas training camp, but I'm not sure if he ended up on a practice squad somewhere. But anyhow, I mean, I think it's pretty close on defense. So moving over to the offense, and we'll rattle these off pretty quick. Very similar points per game. The Giants averaging a little bit better than 11 now. They're at 13. Pats at 14 points a game. They're both 31 and 32 in the league. Total yards per game, not too far off. Giants at 262. That's 32nd in the league. Pats at 294 per game. That's 26th in the league. Rushing yards, similar. Giants, 111 they're averaging. Pats just under 100 at 95. Giants are 13th in the league on average. Pats are at 27, but not a big difference there. 111 and 95, really. It's pretty close. Rushing yards at 10. Giants very close, both averaging around 4 yards a carry. Passing yards per game, Pats a little bit more with 199. Giants at 150 averaging, but I think you see that picking up a little bit as DeVito's getting more comfortable after the Jet game. That's starting to increase a little bit. Third down conversions, both struggle. Giants at 31%, Pats at 33%. That's could be quite a lot of punting we're going to see on Sunday.
So field position could be a big factor in this game, possibly, right?
Absolutely, and that'll bring us into Randy Bullock, who's on the roster, and they cut Cade York, who was on the 53, but they only put him on the 53 because they picked him up from the practice squad of the Titans. So Bullock, not a great kicker. He's okay. He's very sporadic, but it could come down to a field goal here at the end. That's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah.
But,
Chris, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What's the weather supposed to be like up in New York this Sunday?
Yeah, weather's supposed to be partly
Or
sunny,
Jersey.
about 43 degrees, not too much wind. So conditions, I think, will actually be pretty good.
Okay.
Considering we're in, almost December, and it's not going to be too windy. So that may not affect, the passing game. Whatever passing game both the teams, really have. We'll have to see. But real quick, just finishing up the sacks. Giants giving up 63 sacks. Half of those last week may have been on DeVito. I hate to say it, just because he held on to the ball a little bit and didn't move around the pocket that well. He was, you saw a couple times the offensive lineman was engaged and he kind of got grabbed, trying to go by him. So, I want to say that could, be a little bit less. Pats have given up 23 sacks. So it looks like, for all intents and purposes, that, Pats are pretty good in pass protection. Ezekiel Elliott, very good in pass protection. It'll be interesting to see if the Giants can get some sacks. I know against the Colts a couple of weeks ago, the Patriots gave up 2 sacks. Not bad. Turnovers. Giants have had 13 on offense. The Patriots 16. So I think this game comes down to the turnover battle, and also special teams. The punting game.
Could be, yes. Special teams.
I think field position is gonna really make the difference. Oh, Joel, nice call. So Joel just chimed in. Will Greer's on the active roster. So this is really interesting, right? To your point, Mike, Belichick's had 2 weeks to prepare. What do you think? Do you think there's a chance Will Greer is the starter?
Listen, I don't know. When I don't know if you saw the last game the Patriots played. And when Mac Jones threw that interception late in the game, they zoomed in on Belichick. And, I mean, this guy doesn't show any emotion, right? We all know Belichick, and he was going like this with his hand, going like this. He doesn't show any emotion, but he did there. So you don't know if he's given up on Mac Jones. So you might see Will Greer come in and play some quarterback if Zappy has some difficulties. Who knows?
Yeah. And it would be funny, right, Mike? Here's a guy that Will Greer, who's kind of bounced around a little bit. Carolina drafted, didn't really get a shot there. Went to Dallas, had a very good preseason. It would be in typical Belichick fashion to throw a curveball, and Will Greer's the starter, right? At 2-8, I mean, right now he doesn't probably believe he has a quarterback, right? With Mac Jones or Bailey, I would think Mac Jones probably, whether Belichick's there or not next year, I think this might be it for Mac Jones. Do you agree, Mike?
Yeah, I do agree. Yep, and I believe somebody on there made a comment that Belichick could be gone, and I think that's correct. I think it's time for him to move on. I mean, what else can he do for that franchise? And what's he got? 7 Super Bowl rings with them? Am I right? Is it 6 or 7? 6, right?
Yeah,
because Brady has 7, so he got one with Tampa. So he had 6 Super Bowl rings with them. So I mean, what else can he do? But I don't think his NFL career is over. I think he'll move on to where, I don't know. But this could be an interesting game, Chris. You have 2 teams really not going anywhere. So could we see a lot of 4th and 1s? Could we see a lot of those? If they get in the right field position, could we see some trick plays, like maybe on a punt, faking a punt and going for it? I mean, that would be fun. I think that would be fun to see, both teams doing things like that. I have no problem if either team did that.
Yeah, I mean, Mike, you got a 2-8 team and a 3-8 team. So what the hell, right? Have say have fun, but roll the dice, and you'll see some chances. Because to your point, with the field position game, it's going to be a lot of stuff in between the 40, in between the 20s or 30s. It might not even go. You know how many? It may not be a lot of red zone opportunities because they, Patriots do have a decent defense. Giants do as well. So could be a lot of field position in between the 20s.
Yeah,
Yeah, we might see that. Belichick is big on that too. He'll go for it on his own 40 if he feels like he could, get the yard, especially if
absolutely.
he's sputtering. Yep. Um, yeah, so I mean that's what we're looking at there. And just to touch upon some of the players in the game. I mean, Jabril Peppers, former Giant. You got Joe Judge coming back. You have Mike Gesicki, who's actually, I believe, from Long Beach Island area. My brother had his son at one of his camps 2 years ago and was chatting with him. Big Giants fan growing up, him and his family. And, on the side, he was like, man, I would love to play for the Giants. And he was a guy in free agency that I kind of was watching, see, not much of a
Yeah.
blocker, right? Not much of a blocker, Gesicki, but very good hands, good athletic, athlete. But, it would be fun if he at some point ended up on the Giants. But, yeah, he's with the Patriots. Obviously, Kendrick Bourne used to be, I think, with the 49ers, and then you had Schuster with the Steelers. But, could be a very boring game, right, Mike? I mean, could be a game where we sit back and just watching paint dry here.
It could be. It could be like the Jet. It could be like the Jet and Giant game where the over and under could be under. I think it'll definitely be under 30. The over and under.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, it could be one of those kind of games, and hopefully, hopefully the Giants can win this game and just try to get that. And listen, winning is important for the Giants franchise only because it gives those young guys the feeling of winning. It's good when you play football. It's good to win games. It gives you that confidence. It gives you you don't feel like you're going to lose when you're walking down the field. So it's in football especially. It's a very big mental thing to win football games. It really is.
And one side note with the game, Hunter Henry, who's battled a lot of injuries in his career as of late. He's their number one tight end, and we know how tight ends hurt the Giants, often. So that'll be interesting to see if they try to get the ball to Hunter Henry, who's a heck of a tight end when he is healthy.
Yeah, he is. He is, and the Giants are against tight ends coverage wise. So
just keep an eye on that, and Duggar, their safety, he leads the team, and he's right there at the top at 67 tackles. And I know you said this before. When your safety leads the league or leads the team in tackles, that's not always a good thing either, right, Mike?
No. I remember that kid Duggar. I remember looking at him. I think he's from a small school, like is it Illinois? Am I pronouncing it right? Leniore, Illinois.
Wow,
I remember him.
Very good, Mike. That's why you're the college draft prognosticator here. Mike, you're exactly right. Lenore Rhyme. I'm not even sure where that is. I'm sure somebody knows, but wow, good job. And good for him. No college that's not known very well leads a team with 67 tackles. So I don't know if that's a product of not getting past that second level, the running game, I would think, but he did look active against the Colts too.
He did. I see that thing up there by Jay about that teams will want a draft pick for Belichick. I wonder what type of draft pick they would expect from.
At his age, do you think he could pull off like a number 2?
I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, look as great as Belichick has been in his career, I wouldn't give up a second round pick for him. I don't think I would do that.
He's 72 now, right? 72.
Oh my gosh, he's got to be. Yeah. He's got to be.
He's got to be. Yeah.
Toodle's in the house, by the way.
Yeah, big shout out to Toodle. Thanks for finding us tonight on a Wednesday night. I know you're a regular. A lot of you guys are and gals on Mondays and Wednesdays. So hey, we appreciate it, Toodle, that you're stopping by tonight as well. And so one of the rumors I heard, Mike, and we'll get back to the game and everybody out there, is that Kraft, because he loves his old Patriots, Vrabel seems to be a name that's popping up quite a bit with the Patriots.
Tennessee.
Yeah. Now I'm not sure what that would cost with Vrabel's contract, to make a lateral move like that, or what they would, compensate. But that's interesting. I could see Kraft wanting Vrabel. I mean, he's a heck of a coach.
Yeah, he is.
The offense, unfortunately, hasn't been very good, but he's done a pretty decent job.
Yeah, and he was definitely loved by Belichick too. By the way,
Yeah,
he was like the leader on that defense, wasn't he? When he's there, one of the leaders.
Yeah, him and Brucey were like the heart and soul of that defense for sure. But once again, thanks Tudo for stopping in. Yeah, so that's going to be interesting to see with the offseason. Mike, moving on to the game on the offense, what do you want to see the Giants do on offense? Let's say the Patriots stack the box. Do you want to, which they probably will, I would think, and just let DeVito see what he can do. Do you want to see the Giants just really sit on the run right away like they did? Or they didn't do that last week. Or do you want to see them kind of mimic what they did against Washington and be aggressive on offense, or stick to the run and play like a field position game and grind it out and check downs and short stuff? What do you want to see with the Giants on offense with DeVito?
Well, last week was the best, my opinion, the best offensive game plan throughout the game, adjusting that the Giants did this whole year. They took what the defense gave them, like you just mentioned. Washington loaded the box, so instead of them allowing them to take Barkley out of the game as a runner, they put him as a receiver. And Barkley he scored a touchdown in the first half as a receiver. Nobody's going to cover Barkley in an up and out route. No linebacker is going to cover him. So I think if the Patriots do the same game plan defensively, I think you'll see the Giants implement Barkley the same way. Get him out in the flats, get him out a little bit of maybe a screen pass once in a blue moon. I'd love to see a screen pass, but utilize Barkley more in the passing. And then if they don't do that, if they take that extra guy out of the box, then run when you think you need to, when it makes sense, and when the game dictates it. That's what I see them doing.
Yeah, I think play action becomes a big part of this game, which worked last week against Washington. And I'm sure they're telling DeVito this week, hey, behind closed doors, you did a great job, but you got to get rid of that ball. If you have to check it down, check it down. DeVito wanted to be aggressive, and he stood in there, but probably could have gotten rid of the ball sooner. But once again, another game, his progressions probably speed up, I would think, and his progressions, the way he's formulating the game and every play while he steps back. The processing is what I'm trying to say. The processing is probably going to speed up a little bit, I think, as we've seen the progression. So I think that'll be a good thing. But I think the play action is huge. Check it down to the Barkley when you have to, and let him make a play. Right, Mike?
Yeah. And, Chris, this guy's an undrafted free agent, and this will be his third start. If you had a first overall pick having his third NFL start, what do you expect from him to do, right? So I think DeVito is doing more than anybody expected, and I think he's going to get better, especially what you just said. I think the game will start slowing down a little bit for him, where he won't take that sack. He'll roll out, tuck it in and get out of the pocket, maybe throw it away. I think you'll see a slow progression into the positive side with him. I think he's going to get better and better. I don't think he's going to be the future of the Giants, but I can see him being part of the Giants in next year. I do.
Yeah, he's auditioning for that backup job, whoever the quarterback is. We know Jones will be back, whether he's starting or they draft somebody. But DeVito has an opportunity to be on this team next year if he plays, even just decent. If he's able to just go out there and function, as a backup. So, which he's shown he can. But as you know, Mike, and everybody on here, Bill Belichick, right, with all the bells and whistles and all the illusions that he's going to pull out, he's going to give them fake looks. He's going to give them different looks. They're going to pull out of stuff. They're going to show something, and then at the pre-snap, it's all going to change. So it's going to be interesting, watching the Giants at 3-8 and the Patriots at 2-8 throw the records out. This will be an interesting game just to see the chess match of DeVito and Belichick and how we could dissect what he's looking at. We saw a couple of years ago, was it Sam Darnold? I'm seeing ghosts, right? That was one of his comments. I'm seeing ghosts.
Yeah.
So, will DeVito see ghosts, or is he, going to bring that Jersey swag and that aggressiveness and be able to just, dissect it as he sees it to a point where he can get the ball moving downfield. We don't expect him to put up, 27 points, but if he can move the ball down the field and actually get into some field position, even if they kick a few field goals, I think that's a success against a Belichick. I mean, you're talking about an all-time great coach, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I think I mentioned this earlier, and I'm going to ask you next week, because you're going to be there at the game, what the feeling is if the Patriots score, what kind of reaction the crowd's going to give, and when the Giants score. The Giants are playing at home. I'm just curious what you take from that. But it's going to be. Let's just face it, guys. This is a game based on draft position, nothing else. It really is.
Yeah. No. Yep. I agree with you. And it's a 1:00 game. Weather will be so should be full, even holiday weekend. So I anticipate a big crowd on Sunday, and especially DeVito. I think DeVito gave some juice, right? Gave some juice and some life to the Giant fans, just to be curious. If nothing else, your curiosity on who shows up on Sunday. Is it going to be the DeVito we saw last week, or is it maybe going to be the DeVito we kind of saw in the Raider? I don't even want to say Jet game because he kind of came in there, awfully fast. But are we going to get a guy in between? But it's going to be fun to watch. Maybe a boring game, but I think it's going to be interesting nonetheless. Let's see. Bring up some comments. Anything you see on there, Mike, that you want to have chimed in that I could bring up?
Let me look. I haven't looked.
All right. Well, we got a couple here. Film doesn't lie about him either. I think we're talking about Purdy on that. Was that Purdy? We had some Purdy comments. Purdy can't carry a team. I guess we'll segue just real quick. But you're right, Jay. The thing with Purdy is if he has Ayuk and his whole cast of weapons, it seems like Purdy does pretty well. But when those guys aren't playing, he comes back down to earth a little bit, right, Mike? When you talk about Purdy.
Yeah. I don't know if I was on this show with you or with Spartan. We talked about Purdy. I think when the Giants are going to play them, he's perfect for that team. He really is. And the way Shanahan works and plays and utilizes him, he's not there to carry the team. He's there to be a complement piece. Let the defense, let the running game, just put the ball in the stars' hands. McCaffrey and what's his name, Debo. Can't remember his last name. Drawing a blank. Samuel. Yeah, and the tight end, put the ball in the stars' hands, and let them be stars. That's why they get paid the big bucks, and that's what he does so well. He knows
right?
Like,
yeah.
What's that?
And he processes very fast. It seems Purdy. I know we're talking about
He
Purdy
does.
now, but it seems like he does process the field fast, and I think that's been such a big benefit to him because he was in college for 5. Was he 5 years? Or did he come out?
I know he was. I think it was a 4 year. He was a 4-year starter. And did you know the story behind that? How they decided to
something like that.
Yeah. Do you know the story? Yeah. Well, the story behind why they picked Purdy was they had Brian Griese, the 49ers, on their, I guess, payroll, whatever his capacity is, whatever he is, and he said because they were going to day 3. And he brought up Purdy because he did a lot of games for the networks, a lot of college games, and he watched a few games by Purdy. And he said, this kid Purdy's pretty good. He makes good decisions. And, if you're going to pick, you might as well pick him and don't wait until he's a free agent where he has a chance to go somewhere else. So under Griese's advisement, that's why they picked him in the 7th round. They picked him because Griese said that he looked good in the games that he actually televised and was broadcasting. So it's pretty interesting.
That is interesting. And, to take a flyer on a 7th round pick, not a big deal because not many 7th round picks stick anyway. So,
Right.
you take the advice of a quarterback to a quarterback, and look what's happened, right? He's turned out to be pretty damn good.
Yeah, and another thing, Chris, he got from they test these quarterbacks out. I guess their intellect. I don't know exactly what they do in the combine, but I read somewhere that he graded very high.
Yeah,
So
on the Wonderlic test.
what is it?
I think it's called the Wonderlic test.
Okay, and you just talked about how great he processes, and there it goes right there. So that's why he fits perfect with that team. He just does what he needs to do. Doesn't have to be the star throwing 300 plus yards a game. Just don't put the team in position to lose as the quarterback, and he doesn't do that.
Yeah. And he makes plays when he has weapons. So, yeah, I've heard, and that's why San Francisco, it looks like they've gotten off their little losing streak after last week.
Yeah,
They'll be, it's going to be them, Eagles, Cowboys, Lions. So yeah, it'll be fun to watch. Mike, before we go into like a roster update and injuries, we'll bring everybody up to speed on that in a second. But we have to talk about this guy right here, Fabio Carrique. Mike, give me your thoughts after watching him.
Oh my gosh,
a slow start, but he's feeling comfortable. What's your thoughts on?
Oh my gosh, what's it been now? About 4 to 5 games now. He's playing all pro. He's playing all pro caliber right now, and he's everywhere. Wherever the football is, that's where he is. Along with McFadden, they are. I think I said this to you a few weeks back. They're playing as well as any inside linebackers the Giants have had in a very long time. They are playing lights out football, So I expect Carrique to keep it up and have a Pro Bowl season if he's not having one right now.
Amazing. He has 104 or 5 tackles. He's playing with what came out today, Mike. I don't know if you saw it or anybody saw it. He's playing with a fractured rib. He has
I didn't know that.
A pinky had to get popped in. So, I mean, this is a guy on a 2-8 team or 3-8 team that's playing hard. He's old school, right, Mike? This is what you would see from our great linebackers back in the 80s and early 90s. I mean,
yep.
I couldn't help but think of the number 58s. You had Carl Banks, one of my favorites. You had here's a guy that doesn't get mentioned much, but you'll remember he was with that 2000 team. Michael Barrow when he came over from the Panthers.
Michael Barrow, yep, the guy from the Carolina.
End of his career a little bit, but played really well. And then obviously Antonio Pierce. And then if you want to just take the 8, you got Jesse Armstead. But here's another 58.
Oh, he was 98. Armstead won 98. Armstead won 98.
I'm using the 8, right? But I'm using the 8.
Okay.
Here's an 8 in there. I had to grab something for Jesse, But so Mike, I mean, all said and done, he has a contract for a few years. I mean, this is going to be fun to watch this guy, especially if the Giants can make the playoffs in the next couple of years, and everybody gets to see what a great linebacker we finally have. So.
Yeah, I agree, and you talk about this guy here. And I just mentioned McFadden earlier, real briefly. That guy, I think McFadden, he's like, he's starting to look like Blake Martinez a little bit, a little quicker, but, the guy, he's one of the best in shooting the gaps. I mean, and that comes from preparation and studying the film, guys. That's exactly where that comes from. He anticipates the play, and that's why he's making those plays, and he gets into those gaps before the lineman gets to him.
Yeah. And absolutely, Jay Pierce 158, right? I don't know if you heard that, but yeah, I put Michael Barrow in there, Antonio Pierce, Carl Banks, and I think you can add Carrique.
You didn't mention Carl Banks originally. You didn't mention Carl Banks. You didn't mention Carl Banks in the beginning.
Oh, I thought I did. No, definitely. No. Carl Banks. No, my microphone. How could I not? I mean, that's my guy. That's the jersey. I don't wear a lot of the new jerseys. I don't have any, but I always wear a Carl Banks one, and the reason is, Harry was awesome, LT was awesome, and I always feel like Carl Banks, although he was appreciated by Giant fans, I think a lot of the other, till later on in his career, he was, I don't want to say ignored, but kind of just passed over a little bit. And he was on the All-Decades team of the 90s, right?
That's right, because he wasn't flashy. He wasn't flashy, Right. And, I mean, when you get the ultimate comment from John Madden, John Madden would say that he was the glue of that Giants defense. That's a compliment. You know, when
Right.
John Madden says that about you.
Yep. And yeah, I'm sorry, Jay. We don't want to disrespect Ellerson Smith either. So you're right. I apologize, Ellerson
Who?
Smith. Yeah. Oh, Jay, good call there. Yeah, because and you'll hear Carl Banks talk about. He doesn't like to talk about Washington, but he went to the Redskins at the end of his career, and I remember playing against the Giants. It was very strange watching him with Washington.
Oh yeah, him. Pavaro went to Philly. That was tough to swallow.
You almost feel like it never happened, but yeah.
I know. God, how about Parcells coaching Dallas?
Oh yeah, that's just odd. Absolutely. In fact, Bill Parcells has a daughter. Her name is Dallas, which is mind-boggling because
Oh my gosh, really?
she wasn't even he wasn't with Dallas yet, but yet his daughter's name was Dallas. I don't know, maybe his mom, maybe Bill's wife, for whatever reason but that's a strange one too. A daughter's named Dallas, so you don't hear about that. But
no, I never knew that.
Yeah, yeah, Bobby Okereke. I mean, do you feel like, Mike, the way he's going, he's going to be, I don't want to say an all-time great, but he's going to be up there with Antonio Pierce, if not by next year in that same talk, is like an Antonio Pierce and kind of.
Yeah, I can see that Yeah, I agree with you, Chris. I think another few years in playing this level, I think that when we look back on it, I think people will compare him equally to Antonio Pierce.
Yeah,
I can see that.
Yep, and I think what you like about Okereke, he's a 3-down linebacker, right? He doesn't come off the field on 3rd down. He's in there all the time and plays like 97 or whatever, 95% of the snaps.
That's a defensive coach's dream, to have guys who can play 3 downs.
Yeah. By the way, they waived. Let's see, what is this? By the way, they waived Jalen Smith to make room for Smith on the practice squad. By the way, they waived Jalen Smith to make room for Smith. Oh, is he talking about Ellerson Smith when they added him on? Is that what you're saying?
Maybe, I don't know.
Hey, Darius? Yeah, I'm not sure. Okay. That just, yeah. I'm not sure. I think that's what he means. Maybe they waived Jalen Smith to make room for Smith on their practice squad. Ellerson Smith from last year? Oh, geez. I don't know. Maybe that's something new. Yeah, let us know, Darius. Clear that up for us. I'm not sure. But, and anybody else, Mike, on the team that you want to just give some props to as we go into this Patriot game? Anybody that you're looking for in this game, whether it's a Hyatt or Slayton in the passing game?
Well,
Bellinger could be a focus.
Yeah. Well, I would like to see them maybe test the Patriots secondary, maybe stretch the field out, get a few out there to Hyatt and see what happens. Perhaps you might get a interference call. Just get the kid involved early and often. I have no problem with that. And I like, even though one of our colleagues doesn't like him, I like Wan'Dale Robinson. I like his game. I like the way he plays. I think they gotta get him involved. Whether it's just a little slants, a little short passes, that's fine. Get the ball in a little jet. How about some jet sweeps? Would be fun to see him do.
Yeah, I think with the linebacker Bentley, if he's out, I think Wan'Dale plays right into that role there on those crossers over the middle, where he can get some separation. Whether it's the nickel or getting picked up by a linebacker. But I agree with Jay here too, right? Bellinger, we almost saw him score last week. He just
I know
at the 5.
Hey, I wonder in Vegas how much is it the bet if Bellinger gets a touchdown? I bet you make a lot of money on that one.
Yeah,
right.
Does he have one this year? I'm not sure if he even has one. Maybe he has.
I don't even know if he has one.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He needs one, and that's a perfect outlet for DeVito. Even if he could chip, right? Because if Tyree Phillips we're going to see about Neal on the right side this week again, or if it's Phillips, but even if he has to chip and just be an outlet for DeVito, maybe we can anticipate that Bellinger getting some more looks this week. So,
yeah, a lot of in philosophy is the tight end is the quarterback's best friend. When everything breaks down, look for the tight end. So
yeah,
I'd love to see Bellinger get like 6 to 8 catches. That would be nice.
Wouldn't that be great? Yeah, absolutely. Because Yeah, we've been waiting for Bellinger, all season. Obviously when Jones got hurt, and Waller, and we didn't get much quarterback play, but I think at this point with DeVito feeling confident and the game plan, I would think Barkley and Bellinger could be a focus, especially to avoid some of those sacks and get rid of the ball, hit 3-step drop and just get rid of it and hit Bellinger.
Chris,
Yeah,
scroll down a couple down for Jay. He made the comment about Wandell, about Craig. Put that in there. Read that.
I know. Yeah, that's what Jay. That's a great point. I thought the same thing. I mean, it's not like we're talking to Craig, who's 6'3". I mean, if anything, he should be embracing Wandell. I don't know. Maybe it's a case of sour grapes where Wandell made it and Craig didn't, and he's like, no, if I can't make it, neither can another 5'5" receiver like myself. I'll bet that Wandell might even be taller than Craig.
we gotta get Craig on the show with Wandell sometime and do a measurement.
Yeah, we should have a height challenge with Craig and Wandell. That's what Craig needs to be tweeting and getting on the show, is get Wandell.
Craig's probably watching us right now, shaking his head. He's getting pissed.
Okay. I know Craig hates Wandell. I know. But if you notice, Jay, he's kind of, not that he's changing his tune, but he's loosening up. He's warming up a little bit.
He is warming up. Yeah. He is warming up. And you know what's funny? On that draft night, that was Chris's debut with us. I remember that. You were on the show with us on draft show, weren't you?
Yes, the draft night. Yeah.
Yep, on the draft night.
For like 6 hours we were on.
Oh my gosh. That was brutal, I gotta tell you.
We were picking at straws at the end. Like we didn't have anybody left on the board.
I was giving golf tips to Spartan.
I think at one point Spartan said, "All right, let's just wrap this up." It's like mid 12:20.
Yeah, it's like 2 a.m.
That's right. Oh my goodness! But that was fun, man. That was fun. But yeah, Wandell, he didn't like that from the beginning. But hey, Wandell played well last week too. He had a couple of nice catches, good runs. He fought for some extra yards. So yeah, I'm all for Wandell. I think he's gonna grow, and even be better. I'm not sure what kind. I'm not sure if he's gonna be all pro or Pro Bowl, but I think he's gonna be more than serviceable.
He's going to be a good NFL wide receiver. He is.
Yeah.
He'll have a good long career barring injuries. I think
Absolutely.
He will.
Sharp cuts, sharp moves, and gets in and out of breaks. I mean, and he catches the ball.
Oh, yeah.
Drops. So.
Look at Joel. Look at Joel's bottom one, and that's a puzzling one. Look at the bottom one with Joel.
Isaiah Hodgins sightings. I know he had a catch last week, and he was pretty animated after the catch. Mike, what's your thoughts on Isaiah Hodgins? Coming off the bench right now and not really being a focal point in the offense.
I don't know why. Listen, we're not in there watching practice and seeing what they're doing, and I don't know, what they're sour on him. Now are they taking his snaps away and giving them all to Hyatt? If that's the case, so be it. But I think he should share as many. I think he should have the equal snaps he has with Slayton. And I don't know what it is. If anybody knows what the breakdown is with snaps, I think him and Slayton should be equal. I don't know where Slayton gets the playing time over Hodges, because I thought Hodges was very reliable when he played.
Yeah, Mike. The only thing I'm thinking of is maybe because they max protect a little bit more, and they want the speed with the Hyatt, who's kind of in the game more, and with Slayton, and then in the slot you want Wandell now. But maybe is it a case of they just even though Hodgins was great routes, it's just a case of they want more speed on the outside to stretch the field. But then again, they're not throwing downfield that much. I'm mind boggled too as well.
Well, if you want more speed downfield, then you got to play Jay and Hylett more. You got to play him a lot more. He's got to take on one side of this. I mean, you can't play every down. I think these guys get tired, and not like the old days. But if you have 60 offensive snaps, Hylett needs to be in at least 50 of them, at least 50. And then if you have Slayton out there getting 30, they give the other 20 to what's his name, and then you got the other guy. Then he can. I mean, there's no reason why Hodges can't get 30 snaps and Slayton 30 snaps, and then of course you got what's his name, Robinson getting the majority of the slot. I noticed I saw Shepard playing a lot more this past week, and I don't know why. Was there somebody hurt? I must have missed something. Was someone hurt?
No, I don't believe so at the receiver position. Shepard's a good blocker from the slot. Maybe just feeding him a little bit more, trusting. Yeah, I don't know. That's a interesting too, because I noticed Shepard getting in more. But yeah, that's. I'm curious too. Hodgins hasn't been in there as much as we thought, and I wonder if the offensive line was playing better and they'd be able to, put him in a little bit more without the max protect and not having the, pulling the tight end and putting him in there. Maybe it's because they're keeping tight end a lot of times in the game. I don't know. Yeah, I feel the same way. I thought we'd see more from Hodgins, but maybe last week's the beginning of getting a little bit more of feeding him. We'll see. We'll see on Sunday.
Yeah, we'll see. It'll be interesting. Like we just talked about with the over. Do you think the over under is going to be 30, or do you think it could be more?
Oh, I think it's going to be under 30. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that. Well, I think it's going to be just under 30. I think it's going to be like a 17-14 type game.
Okay, so around there, around 30.
Yeah, around 30. So we're going at 30. So yeah, I think it's going to be right. Yeah, well, we'll be over 30 then. That's a good question. I don't know.
So 30 to 35.
I could see 14-10. I'll be honest, I could see like a 14-10 type.
Okay.
I don't know. How about you, Mike? What are you seeing?
No, I think it's going to be something around there, 14-10, 16-13, something in that area where field position is going to be vital. Making field goals is going to be important. I can't see both teams doing well in the red zone. I don't think they'll get in the red zone a lot. So I don't see a high percentage there. Third down efficiency, just like they've been all year long, won't be that good. Would love to see them both go for it more on 4th and 1 in this game, or some trickery on punting, do stuff like that. I would love to see that. These kind of games, you have nothing to lose.
Yeah, we may see that. I think this game mimics the Patriot-Jet game when the Patriots had the one score. I think it was to the tight end. It was I don't want to say a broken play, but he ran, whatever, he got in for 20 yards or whatnot. And then the Giant-Jet game. I think it's going to be similar to those two games. The Giant-Jet game, isn't it funny the Jets are involved in both because their offense is terrible too? So the Jets-Giants game, Jets-Patriot game. I think that's what we're looking at here. I think we're looking at 14-10, 13-10. Field. It might be 9-9 after the end of the first half with all field goals. But
could be.
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah, but get ready for Randy Bullock, everybody, because he chokes. I'm just telling you. I remember we were the Titans. I wasn't when they played the Titans last year. I said to somebody, he's going to miss this. This guy chokes in big spots. I've seen it with the Texans, and he missed the one with the Titans. So I am already preparing myself for a big miss by Bullock on Sunday.
What do the fans think? I'm reading here the last few. They're talking about draft position.
Yeah.
And missing out on Williams, which guys, you can like who you like, and I'll get into the quarterbacks when we do our draft shows. But he's not the only quarterback in this draft. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to your analysis and everybody. I mean, I'm up on it a little bit, but not like our followers and listeners. With really going in depth. So far early in the game because the Giants stink. But yeah, I'm really interested in everybody's talk on who the Giants pick, and especially during the draft night itself when guys start coming off the board. Because we all know it's a crapshoot.
And Chris, every year the draft. We're gonna look at the first round and go, holy smokes! I can't believe they got him, or wow, look, this guy's still on the board. We're in the 20s now. I thought he'll be a top 10 pick, right? Happens every year.
Well,
it really does.
So Josh Rosen, Darnold. Those were can't misses, right? Everybody loved them, and these guys are barely in the league. Well, Darnold's kind of rebounded a little bit, but Rosen's out of the league, But I think Rosen rather play tennis. That was his thing. He was more into tennis than football.
Yeah, that's right. And I did it, and I looked up today. I put it on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. And I looked up all the I think there was 56, 57 Super Bowls so far in the history of NFL, and only 30% of the winning quarterbacks were first overall picks in the Super Bowl. All the rest, 70%, were guys drafted somewhere in the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, or even never drafted, right? Kurt Warner never drafted.
Yeah.
So
and that's Darius's point right there on the board. Yeah.
What's he saying?
Just remember, some of the best quarterbacks in this league are not first-round picks.
That's right. So it's going to be interesting what the Giants do. I already have my take on what the Giants, and of course they got options. We don't know. They're going to get phone calls wherever they finish. I think they'll finish in the top 5 based on what we see in the schedule, remaining in the schedule. I think it's a possibility to finish top 5. But we don't know what Shane's going to do. We can always speculate, and I'll do that when we have our draft shows. But I'm really I don't think, and I could change my mind, that Shane would try to go and get the number 1 pick and give up so much draft picks to do that. I don't see him doing that. I could be wrong, but the Giants have so many holes to fill. I don't know if that will be a smart move.
Yeah, that would be. You got to hit on it. If you're going to do that, you got to hit on it, or you're going to lose your job. That's what it's going to come down to. Hey, Cole, thanks for jumping in. We were waiting for you. So Cole just chimed in. You could tell he really enjoys the show. Cole, you came in with 3 minutes left, but we appreciate it. Cole was debating whether to actually watch the show tonight. I'm not sure if it's that good. All right, it's 8:57. I'll watch the show. We got 3 minutes left. So thanks, Cole. I'm just joking, but thanks for popping in. So Mike, real quick, I know we have a couple minutes. Let me just give you some roster updates. The Giants signed to the practice squad of the Vikings yesterday. This Brandon Whitley, he was on the Vikings practice squad. He's bounced around with the Chiefs and I think maybe the Lions or another team, I forget, but hasn't really played much. But because he came off the practice squad, it's more special teams probably. He'll be on the roster. He probably won't dress on Sunday, but he'll be on the 53. Caden York, if you remember a couple weeks ago, they signed Caden York to the 53. I mentioned it before. He came off the Titans practice squad. They had no choice, even though they had Bullock. So look for Caden York, who's a former 4th-round pick, big leg, but he has a case of confidence, missing some field goals late last year and in preseason, and the Browns let him go. But he may come back on the practice squad, and maybe they sign him to a deal for the offseason and see what happens with him, because Gano is up in the air. We'll see how he comes back after surgery. Going into the injuries, Andrew Thomas, they're saying he has like an ACL. What do you call it? No, not a torn ACL. Help me out here, Mike. He has a sprain. I'm sorry. I think it's an MCL. I'm sorry, MCL sprain. So he played with it last week. I'm hoping he's okay. They played with it. He's a tough guy. So he seems like he's going to be playing. He didn't practice today. Daniel Jones, successful surgery, ACL surgery, 8 to 10 months is the prognosis on him. Darius Slayton looks like he had like a little bit of a neck stinger. Dexter Lawrence, hamstring from last week, no practice today, but I think he'll be playing on Sunday. We mentioned Bobby Okereke with the rib fracture, amazingly, and will probably play on Sunday, but he sat out practice. Dory Jackson looks like he'll clear concussion protocol. That's what they're saying, so he'll play Sunday. But Mike, your thought on the injuries or any of these guys? Anybody, before we wrap it up, anybody you want to see get some? I want to say more action, but who do you want to see on the Giants on Sunday? Play well rather than the ordinary Dexter, Bobby. Who do you want to focus on the team Sunday besides DeVito and the normal guys we talked about? Anybody? We have
all right, let's go on one on each side of the ball. I want to see Bellinger have a really good game. I want to see him get 6 to 8 catches, and just have the game of his life, and just because I think the guy he does everything the team asks him to do. And you don't hear anything about him. He's a good football player, and I would like to see him get his day in the sun and have a really good game. On defense, I would love to see Ojulari play the whole game, not get hurt, and get a few sacks because he's been missed. He's been missed. I mean, if we had that kind of production on the other side of Tibbs, boy, the defense could be so much better. So those are my two guys.
Yeah, man, imagine Tibbs and Ojulari if Ojulari was 100% full speed. Hey, thanks Darius for the nice comment. We appreciate you being here, everybody. And just to go off your point, Mike, with Bellinger, they keep him in the block more now because they need his help. So to your point, I hope Evan Neal, if he plays on Sunday, it's time for Evan Neal to make a stance on if he's going to be the right tackle. Like, let's go already, right? So if he's out in the field, let's see some progress. We've seen glimpses here and there, but let's see Evan Neal do a good job and let Bellinger get out into the passing game. So to your point, I think if Neal could show that he could, do the job, I think we see Bellinger get more more action out there, and pass plays, rather than just sitting back and blocking.
Yeah.
But on defense, Ojulari, that was a good one. I'll say let's see some more growth from. I want to keep going with McFadden. I think he's playing awesome, and I think him and Okereke, that could be a nice tandem.
It already is. I love it.
Yeah. So let's see McFadden again. Even let's see him progress even further and just keep being what we expect, because I think it's getting to a point now with McFadden. We're expecting these good games. We've seen a bunch of them, so I think it's almost become second nature. If he doesn't have a good game, so I think we're beyond that. Let's wait and see about McFadden. I think we're all, hey, we're seeing it. Let's just keep it going and keep it consistent, right?
We are, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But all right, well, I think that's it, Mike. What's your pick for Sunday before we shut it down? What's your
Well, you know what, Mr. Paisan DeVito has given me life, and I am going to go with the Giants in this game, a close one, by a field goal. Close game, like you said, 13-10, 16-13, something that 12-9, something like that.
You just said it. I'm going to go 16-13 Giants. I think it's going to be a bunch of field goals, maybe a touchdown in there at some point, but I think it's going to be a field goal game, battle of field position, like we said earlier. But that's it.
And I hope the rest of the Giants fans are rooting for the Giants, please.
Yeah, I hope so. If you're coming out to the game, root for the Giants. I mean, listen, we got to support them. Whether I know there's a point where we feel like we want them to lose sometimes and just get the draft pick. But when the game starts, like many fans say, you want to. It's tough not to root for your team. But hey, to each their own. You have your own motives. Whatever you want to do, that's up to you.
Yeah, your own motives. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. The fact that they won last. What's that?
Look at Tudo. He's thinking big.
We got to put this up 27-10. I'll tell you what, Tudo.
Is that a picture of Tudo's biceps? Tudo, is that your biceps right there?
You got the big emoji biceps. I don't even see big biceps like that on the emojis. You must have paid extra for those. But anyway, Mike, anything else you want to throw in before we wrap things up?
Nope. I'm looking forward to it. And looking forward to talk about it next week.
Yep, same here. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. We couldn't have a show without you. Have a happy Thanksgiving with you and your families, friends, wherever you're going.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anybody going to the game, head over to J19. Come see me by the cage. We'll hang out, have a beverage or an adult beverage, whatever you want. So if you are going to the game, DM me. Love to hang out with you. I know Joel's coming to the game. We're going to hang out with Joel, who's an old friend, and enjoy the. Hey, we got a Friday game, Jets, right? We got Jets Dolphins Friday, so we got a couple days of games here and college football on Saturday. So enjoy it, people. Have a good time.
Yep.
All right.
See you guys.
Thanks. Yep, and we'll see you on Monday when we come back with NY Giants Rush on Monday to recap Giants Patriots. All right, go Giants. Talk to you guys.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys.